So hi, welcome to the first in what is going to be a series of webinars and Zoom workshops. And this one is the number one in the series, and it's all about getting clients or paying clients for your coaching practice. And this is really designed for coaches of all styles and flavors. You might be an executive coach, a corporate coach, a business coach, an in-house coach. Doesn't matter. We're going to every week go through some different tips and ideas. My name's Dave Holland. My company is Results Rules OK. This is my office in France. I was just explaining to other people on the course. It's actually because we're working from home right now. It's actually the wardrobe at the cottage we're now living in. We have offices in France, in Luxembourg, in the UK, and I've been in this business now for, gosh, just over 18 years. And we have clients in, I think it's about 36 countries. Business coaching, executive coaching, and training. So I've learned a few tricks on the way, and that's the reason we're going to have these conversations about how we can give you some ideas and tips as well. So that's a bit about me. Joining me this evening is my guest, is Gareth Hughes, colleague, friend of mine, also in the coaching business. Gareth Hughes from the UK, over in, I'm going to say Shrewsbury, Shropshire area. So Gareth, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on.
It's good to be here. Yeah, love it.
And
Yeah.
can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? I know you have a very interesting
Uh,
background as well.
yeah, I was in the armed forces for a long time, and spent a lot of time kind of leading teams all around the world, and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the coaching side. At the time, had a business interests. Really like the business side of it, and all the three seem to come together really. So yeah, I've been coaching for around 12 years. I
Yeah.
do, through NLP and mindset and performance coaching, and more recently, business coaching.
Fabulous. Excellent. So, I mean, I did just before we sort of start proper, I did a search because we're based in Luxembourg. Luxembourg's got about, I think, a population of around about 350,000 people. If you type in like life coach or business coach or coaching Luxembourg, you get about 5 million responses on Google come through. So there's like sort of 10 coaches for every person in Luxembourg, I think. And so when I first started in this business, 18 years ago, you go to a networking event, you meet somebody and you say, what do you do? And you go, I'm a business coach. And they go, wow, that's really interesting. What's that mean? What do you do? How do you do it? I've not met one of you before. And I think, to be fair, anybody listening into this has realized that you go to an event now and you say you're a business coach and they go, oh, another one. It's a very, very saturated market. There's loads of people having the experience of being a coach. Not that our coaches, they're having the experience of being a coach. So that hence the reason for this conversation. But just so, Gareth, in your experience, I know you've got lots of clients as well, but what's the sort of first thing or the number one thing that you think most coaches struggle with or they get wrong when they're trying to attract clients to themselves?
I think the first thing is, when you whatever training that you do, whatever coach training that you do, um, you fall in love with it and you have a passion for it, and that's why you become a coach. And um, I think the first mistake is people thinking that people want to coach. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'd love for people to wake up in the morning and go, oh, I really want a business coach, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
um, that's not the way it works. And you come out of coach training, and this is the way I kind of think about it in my head is, you've got the keys to the answers,
Mm.
and in coach training, or whatever training you're doing, you kind of get told that this is the best thing. It's almost like training with Man United, and then at the end of the 2 weeks training or whatever, you say, okay, what you're going to do is, next week we're going to play a game and we're going to have 80,000 people there.
Mm.
And then you get to the stadium and all of a sudden you've got to play, but nobody really wants to watch you. That's the analogy I kind of use.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing is, I think we all, as we all want people to have a coach. Everyone should have a coach, in
Mm.
my opinion.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, I think coaching is so powerful that everybody should have one. Unfortunately, that's not the way people think.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first thing is once you realize that, once you get your head over that,
Mm.
then the whole thing becomes a lot easier
Yeah.
because you know that you have to actually go out there and target. And I think probably the second mistake people make is not having an ideal target market,
Yeah.
if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do, and I get this all the time. I say to someone, "Hey, what's your ideal client?"
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, anybody who."
That's
Right?
right. It's
And as soon as they say anybody who,
yeah.
I know they haven't thought about it enough.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
when you're defining your target market, I want to know the person's name. I
Hmm.
want to know what clothes they wear, what car they drive, how many kids they have, what are the names of their kids,
Yeah.
where do they go to school, where do they spend their weekends, what's their hobbies, and
Yeah.
get really granular. If you can't tell me, Steve wears a green shirt with jeans and drives a Land Rover and has two kids. If you can't tell me that, you haven't thought about it enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and so people are scared about doing this because for a number of reasons. One is they think they're excluding their
Mm.
market,
Yeah.
which is not true. Okay, because you think, well, coaching's for everyone. Well, I can coach any business owner, and that's true. I can coach any business owner,
Yeah.
but I don't want to coach any business owner. I want to coach the guy who I'm going to coach to get results,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so they think they're excluding people, and they're not. They're absolutely not.
Mm.
If anything, they're enhancing that experience.
Hmm.
And then the second thing is they think that they're going to be turning people away. Okay, and if you don't fit my target market, I'm not working for you, or my ideal client avatar, I'm not working for you.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not true, right? When you look at all my clients, just I mentioned Steve. Just so happened, my ideal client avatar is called Steve.
Right.
But none of my clients are called Steve.
Hmm.
But they all have an element of Steve in them.
Yeah.
In terms of their family makeup, whether they're parents or not, what car they drive. Not all of them drive a Land Rover. It just so happens that one of them does. They all have elements
Yeah.
of my ideal client, but they're not all Steve. I
Yeah.
wish they were.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but yeah, I think, does that answer your
I
question?
think so. No, I think it's interesting because I think I found that nobody wants to hire a coach. Not really, but same as nobody wants to go to the dentist. Nobody wants to work with an accountant either, really. What they
Yeah.
want is the accounts done on time. And the unfortunate method of getting your accounts done on time is to work with an accountant. The unfortunate way of getting a nice set of teeth is you've got to go to the dentist. And I think when coaches focus on coaching and being a coach and delivering coaching, I think they miss an opportunity because I think, and what I attempt to focus on anyway, is I focus on the output, what's the consequence of working with me, and hence the name of our company is called Results Rules, because it does. That's where it comes from, and I don't think my clients actually. They don't care if I do coaching or consulting or training or mentoring or whatever I choose to call it, providing I think as a consequence of working with me, they're better off. They get more time or more money or whatever it is. I can call myself whatever I want to call myself. I call myself the business co-pilot. That's what I call myself. And they go, yeah, whatever, just help me out. It's all fine. I think, as you said, one of the mistakes is coaches, they wear this like badge of honor. I'm a business coach, I'm a life coach or whatever. Am I wonderful? And they are wonderful, but only to other coaches, not to their clients and prospects. And I think it's just approaching it from the other way around. And also the target market. Yeah, as you say, what's your target market? It's like anybody with a pulse and a credit card.
Yeah.
That's it. They're in. There's been a
Yeah.
great. It doesn't really work that way. But also but coaches go into desperation mode. They believe that they're not going to but attract the right level of clients, and they forget
Well,
that the target model, what they're going to teach their clients to do, they don't do themselves. So I
that's the
think that
thing. And if you try and talk to everybody, you end up talking to nobody, right? That's the whole
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
Um, you
It's
know,
just
and 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 there's a lot of reasons why you do your ideal client.
mm,
Uh, the number one reason I think is to find out where they hang out.
mm,
it's because you have to reach them somehow,
Yeah.
and that's, by the way, both online and offline where
Mm.
they hang out. There's, I don't do a lot. In fact, as an example, I don't do anything on TikTok. Because my
Right.
ideal client isn't on TikTok,
Sure.
right? And I can't dance. But I do. But I
I
do a
don't
lot on
believe you. I
LinkedIn.
don't believe you. I think.
but like you do, I do a lot on LinkedIn
Yeah.
because I know that's where my ideal client hangs out.
Sure.
I spend a lot of money sponsoring sports players because I know
Mm.
that's where my target market are into sports.
Sure.
So I know that's where I'm going to find them. Or what gym do they go to?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great place for you to advertise, right? It just so happens my gym down the road is quite a high end gym, and I know that my ideal client goes there.
Yeah.
So that's a great place for me to hang out as well. And I actually have done a little bit of business in the jacuzzi previously. So um, it's true.
You
But the
needed the
other thing
money.
is that
You were young. You needed the money. I get it. It's okay.
yeah,
We've
I'm
all
not
done it.
married,
We've all
obviously.
done.
Um, but the other thing is because you start to answer pain points, right? So
Yeah.
the questions you should be able to answer after you've done your ideal client. By the
Mm.
way, this is an A4 piece of paper is an
Mm.
ideal client avatar. Is okay. What keeps my ideal client awake
Yeah.
at night?
Yeah.
Right, and that is a pain point that you need to solve in your results. Because what is coaching? You can't say you know people don't buy coaching. They don't
No.
never buy coaching. They buy the result because you don't know. You can't explain what coaching is
Mm.
really.
Agreed. Agreed.
Not succinctly, and not in a paragraph or something like that. You can't really explain.
Yeah.
But what you can explain is the results you get.
Yeah.
And the 7 P's of marketing. The first one is product.
Yeah.
Nobody buys coaching, but what is it you actually sell?
Mm.
Is it more time? Is it more money? Is
Yeah.
it a better team? Or something like that? You've got to have a product,
Yeah.
otherwise people don't pick it off the shelf.
Yeah.
And people forget they just sell coaching, and that's
But I think this is the danger. I think there's a lot of coaches out there that they when you see them on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, and they talk about coaching, they talk about mindset and limiting beliefs and all this sort of stuff that goes on. All the things when you're at a coaching conference. Great. Let's talk about our limiting beliefs. Let's talk about
yeah,
NLP. Let's talk about the grow model. Great. It's fantastic. Once you leave the coaching conference and you speak to somebody who's been running a company for 20 years, and you talk about limiting beliefs and mindset, they just glaze over. It may be what we're going to do with them, but they don't need to know that. I remember when I was a youngster, just married, about 20, 22, 23, I had to have my wisdom teeth out, and came round after the operation in hospital, full wisdom teeth out, and I was literally covered in bruises, literally a bruised forehead, bruising here and everywhere. And I said to the nurse, "What did you guys do to me?" She said, "Well, I'll show you what we did." And she brought out all the tools and implements they used on me, and there were mallets and chisels and pliers. And I said, "If you'd have shown me that before I went into the operating theatre, I wouldn't have gone in. There's no way I would have gone in." But it's the same with coaching. We don't tell them what we're going to do and how we're going to do it because they have no clue. They don't need to know that. What they need to know is that as a consequence of doing what we do, we're going to help you make more money, work less time, have a better life, or whatever it is. How we do it, we deliver that in slices as we go along, and we don't need to display it to the world. I think it puts people off if not very careful. So yeah, as you say, focus on the
yeah,
outcomes. The
definitely.
results is the real key.
Definitely. Well, there's two things with that, and I used to think it was, if we told people everything that we're going to do along the way,
Mm.
there'd be an overwhelm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we've as coaches, we've got so many tools that we can reach back and grab,
Mm.
and there's a tool for everything. If we said, we're going to be doing this week and this week and that, there's going, whoa, hang on a second.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking about it, it's underwhelm.
Yeah, it
As
is.
well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm paying this money, and you're talking about my time management, or something like that.
Yeah.
You're going to give me a default diary, grand a month I'm paying for this or
That's
whatever.
right. Yeah.
It's so there's overwhelm and there's underwhelm.
Yeah.
Right. And I think as long as I mean, depending on the type of person, obviously, but
Mm.
focusing on the results, focusing on the end product is what we sell.
I think it is. I think it has to be. I think it has to be. It's interesting. We do these sort of seminars and workshops via Zoom and live workshops as well. And the common feedback, picking up on your point about target market, I'm really clear on what my ideal client looks like, and they're not all exactly the same, but there are certain key things that are there. And when people get together on a workshop or a Zoom call, but the feedback that I get is everybody says, "Well, they're all the same. They're all your clients are the same. They're all
They're all
similar
like us, yeah, yeah,
personality, like us guys on here, if you like, whatever personality, value, style. They enjoy what they do, and whatever. They're all similar sort of stuff, and that's the people that we look at. And so I mean, we're going to touch on marketing later on, but when I put my marketing out there, that's why I think personality is so important in marketing, because I want to attract people that resonate with my personality, values, and style, that sort of thing, and then it pulls people towards us. But yeah, but the outcome is the key. Otherwise, look, coaching doesn't work, does it? Nobody in the right mind would hire us. I don't think they would. It's got to be the
yeah,
outcome is the real key.
yeah, definitely. And if it works, keep doing it. This is the thing. And
Yeah, yeah.
the analogy I always use with that is, when Usain Bolt won the gold medal, he didn't sack his coach.
No,
If anything, he worked with his coach more
yeah.
to get better, right? So why is business any different?
Mm,
As soon as you reach a target, well, what's the next target?
absolutely.
If it's working, keep doing it.
Exactly right.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think something else that, in my experience, that I think coaches, all of us, we struggle with. We're all sort of coaches here talking amongst ourselves to a degree. Is it's a crowded market. Everybody's a coach of some sort now. How do we, or what's the importance of differentiation, your uniqueness out there, just in your experience? How do you do it? What makes you unique and special in the market, do you think?
Um, I think I need my clients to answer that actually. But I think definitely, I call that, you trip over them at Chamber of Commerce meetings, or any networking or anything like that. You trip over coaches,
Yeah,
and I think you have to find a way of standing out from the crowd,
yeah,
like you do. People buy people, right?
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So it has you have to. I mean, one of the things I do is, if you are not making money off of what we talk about, I give you your money back.
Okay,
Right? I don't
yeah,
think there's a lot of coaches that do that. There's certainly no one in my area who does that.
sure,
And I think that's a really, because I think we all get objections, we all get price objections, or something like that, and there has to be value in the relationship.
yeah,
And that is one of the things I say is, look, if you're not getting results, I'll give you your money back. And that,
sure,
I think I think that's really powerful. I
yeah,
think that's really powerful,
yeah,
because I've got the confidence in myself to
yeah,
be able to do that. It's a gutsy move
yeah,
doing that,
yeah,
but nobody's ever asked for their money back. Nobody's ever questioned it, because I
sure,
know I get results.
yeah, yeah,
So I think that's something I do.
yeah.
What do you do?
I knew you were going to say that. No, I've thought about this, and I think it is it's the way we approach the business. I think to a degree, it's all about personality and journey. What got us to this point. I know we've all got a journey, a story that's taken us to this point. I think if we can tell our story and our experience and our knowledge and what sort of brought us to this point, what qualifies us to do what we do, that makes us quite unique as well. I mean, like you, I will look at the results and outcomes. Absolutely, that's the real focus. But in terms of how do I differentiate myself, it is down to the journey we've had and what we do and how we do things, and even how we live, in terms of we run the business. We run our business in 3 days a week. We're doing this refurbishment cottage. There's pictures up on LinkedIn and social media about that. I mean, I'll be proven wrong, but when people get to know how we live, what we value, what we're doing, they find that unique. And I've got messages come through from people saying, I love what you're doing with the cottage. This one, I'd love to do that myself one day. And maybe we can work on the business together, blah, blah, blah. But they tune in to the visibility of what we do, and the fact that, you know, Lynn and I have been together since I was, gosh, 15 years old. So that's about, that's 7 years now. Anyway, but it's a long time. And but that as well is something that people resonate with. And I think it is this, not just what we do, it's how we arrived here, and how we hold ourselves, how we handle ourselves as well. That is unique, and that stands out. If you're prepared to share the message and put it out there about, you know, the dogs and the cats and the garden and the relationship, and if you're prepared to do that, that becomes uniqueness as well, I think. So, and it's very powerful.
And the thing is, once you do that, you know, the sale is already done. Well, once you have a
Exactly.
conversation, you're
Yeah.
not actually selling. I mean, you absolutely have to be able. You know, so going back a step, you know, what do new coach, what mistakes do they make? What mistakes do new coaches make? You
Yeah.
know, one is they think they've got a coaching business. You know,
That's
they
right.
don't. Initially, you've got a sales and marketing business.
Exactly right.
You know,
Yes.
and you have to absolutely be able to sell
Yeah.
and market.
Yeah.
But once you get to that stage, the sale's already done.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
confirming
Yeah.
things.
I think it's the inbound inquiry, and I get these, you get them. I had an inquiry come in today, and this guy emailed me, would it be great to have a conversation tomorrow about this, and this? Well, you know, I know he's already bought. I'll let you know. I don't want to jinx it now, but he's already bought, you know, because he's seen me. I think he's bought a book. I think he's whatever. He's seen what's going, and he likes what we do. He's already bought. He's two-thirds of the way there. I don't think, and it's a personal thing, I don't think you can sell coaching.
No.
No, well, no, that's wrong. I think you can sell. I can sell coaching, but it all tapers off real quick. If somebody buys
Yeah.
coaching and they buy me, then we have a long-term relationship, get the good results to the ideal client. I know we've got clients been with us now for, gosh, 12 years, 10, 12 years,
Yeah.
and long term, which is really, really good. But if I sell somebody a coaching program and I use the Ben Franklin close, or I go through the Zig Ziglar, whatever it is, I can do it, and anybody can do it, but then it evaporates real quick. So I think it's the attraction, the value, the personal attraction, the not from a good looking point of view. I know we had that discussion before, but you know, they've got to be attracted to what we do and how we do it, and it's that like, knowing, and trusting. If they can do that, then away we go.
And then you find once that happens, price is irrelevant almost.
It is, absolutely, it is.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because
Just
they're already invested,
yeah,
and you could, I mean, perhaps not name your price, but prices almost out. You know, you don't have to mention it because
it
they've
doesn't
already.
it doesn't matter quite so much, because I think that level of trust. Oh, we've moved around a bit, so the screen moved then a little bit. Sorry. But that level of trust is there, and it doesn't mean you can sort of quadruple your prices, but price is just part of the discussion. You know, they buy into the coaching and what we're able to do and what we can do for
Yeah,
them, and then it's just a ticket to ride. Because like yourself, I'm absolutely clear that their business will pay for the coaching program. So for them, it's free. You know, what does
yeah,
coaching cost? Nothing if you do what I show you. The business will
yeah,
pay for it. It's tax free, VAT free, the whole thing, whatever. Business pays
yeah,
for it. Do what I show you, but you get all the benefits, you get all the rewards.
yeah,
It's just a ticket to ride, and then that makes a lot of sense, and that's how we get the clients staying with us as well. But it is that, I think, that, yeah, being really clear on that and being the value proposition, as you're saying.
yeah. My aim is to be free as soon as possible. And
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll
Be
say
free.
6 months, but I reckon I can do it in 3 months. But
Yeah.
Bez, I think have you raised your hand? Do you have a question? Go on.
A question, Bez. Yeah. Go. Yeah.
Now, this is interesting in pricing, let's say, angle that you took it. There is something. So I'm a marketing guy, and of course I'll put something into it. There's something in pricing, especially for the services, and let's say specifically for coaching and other things, that it is called price quality inference. So
Yeah,
higher is the price, better is the quality, the
yeah,
perception. So
Yeah.
this is one of the seven drivers that drives the perception of the customer.
Yeah.
yeah,
So now in the coaching business, I believe it is not immediate result, because you need to work to structure and then to get the results later.
Mhm.
yeah,
So how do you deal with those two things? So one, it is the pricing, how to find the perfect balance of the pricing,
Yeah.
yeah,
and the second one is that the people, if they are not interested in price, they are interested in time. that is most precious for them. So how to make them believe that you're not wasting of
Yes,
their time.
Great,
I mean, great, and you're
great
absolutely right.
question.
There is a perceived price concept that, and I've had this when I may have just been starting out and I kind of lowered my prices a little bit just to get a few clients on board and stuff like that. And I said to the guy said, okay, well, I guess the only thing is how much does it cost? And I said, well, it costs X amount. And he said, I thought it'd be more than that. I've been hearing from him again, and for him, I should have absolutely waxed it up and definitely. I think you've got an interesting approach to this, Dave. I think certainly when we've been talking before, you said, well, put your price up until somebody says no. I think is the
Yeah, it's one it's one of those things, because price is in the head of my head and not the clients, and I will put the prices up to what I think is reasonable, whatever that means. But also, I think, yeah, so I'll pitch the price at a level which it's got to be sensible. So and what I mean by that is that I recognize I can get good return on my time and my knowledge and my ideas, but also the people I'm working with, they get a good return on their investment in the program as well. But what I found, 9 times out of 10, in answer to your point about how do you get the, when do you get the results, with the right size of company, or mid-sized company, I'm pretty sure I can find my fee real quick, because there's going to be something in there they've missed. There's going to be something. I had a conversation today, and it doesn't matter who the client was, and we're looking at their budgets. They've got this budget coming through, and this was for the next 12 months, looking at the forecast, this sort of thing. And all I said was, I don't know, I would say this to anybody, just as their coach. I said, your net margin looks very weak. Now, I don't know if it's weak or not. I've no idea. But I just said, net margin looks weak. There's something wrong in the account somewhere. Let's go through it. Went all the way through it. And surprise, surprise, we've got a double counting of labor. You got the labor charge was in direct labor and in overheads as well. So just by going through the accounts, we found about 35,000 in the budget for the next
yeah
12 months. Now, for me, that was, have I created 35,000 for that client? Well, yeah, pretty much. We've found it. Now we know what we're going to do with it. Profit's much higher, looks a lot better. Cash flow is going to be improved, all this sort of thing. He's much happier. Now, that has more than paid for my coaching for the year. That 5 minutes looking at that P&L, we found the cash straight away. And in any business, pretty much, with a fresh pair of eyes looking at it, I can pretty much guarantee Gareth, and a seasoned coach will look at it and go, that's where it is, and we'll find the fee. There's always something you can find straight away.
and
Then you work on other things, but there's always you can find your fee within 10 minutes sometimes.
I have a check. I don't know if you have this, but I have a checklist when I start with a new client.
Yeah.
And there's things like, um, you know, are they invoicing every single job?
That's right. Yes.
What really? And you go, well, surely they invoice. I guarantee you, a company doing £1 million turnover,
Yeah,
probably don't.
agreed. I absolutely don't.
So the other thing. So in that list, I pretty much know I can find my fee.
Yeah.
Whether that's you know, stopping a marketing campaign, or that isn't working, because we were talking about this today, I think.
Yeah.
And stopping a marketing campaign that isn't working, or changing something, not necessarily firing someone. I don't think that's the way forward.
No.
But does every employee really earn 30 grand? So I think there's something to your point about it's not always about money. No, it's not always about money. But I always get them to put a figure on it. So, and I'll just give you an example. I have my money back guarantee thing. For one of my clients, they're not interested in money. Their business makes enough money.
Mm-hmm.
What they're interested in is, do they get home at 5 p.m. to put their 18-month-old son to bed?
Yep.
Because previously, before they started working with me, they weren't. They were working till 8, 9, 10 at night, working weekends and stuff like that. So that's his KPI with me, right? Now, what I said to him during the initial conversation is, that's great. Let's put a number on it. Put a number on it, because it becomes tangible then. Yeah. So what is that worth to you? What is it? 40, 50, 60, 70 grand? What is it? And he happened to say 50 grand. But so that's in my head, that's what I'm going for. I need to make this guy 50 grand, or I
Absolutely.
need to get back 50 grand because I've got something to shoot for.
Yeah.
You know, his KPI in the week is what we discuss every single week, actually, is how often did he get home at 5 p.m.?
There you go. Yeah.
You know, does that, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, does that sort of answer some of your question?
Yeah. I got an overall, yeah, I got an overall question after on that, so I got an idea. Yeah, it is really, yeah. You have to. So I've done. I didn't call it coaching before. I've been consultant. So,
Yeah.
but I discovered I'm really good at coaching and mentoring and inspiring on changes. So
Yeah.
people through changes, and that probably is the definition of coaching on my angle perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see the value you are providing. The problem is that it depends from the person you have in front of you, how reactive is he, and how well structured is he to go along with the new changes and everything else. And unfortunately, that impacts the final value that you would bring to the
Yeah,
table. So
yeah,
the speed of the adopting new structure, new
yeah,
ideas,
yeah,
and
totally.
all those things. And
And look,
probably I don't know. Yeah, what I got from you now, so it was that you first you have to provide some tangible value,
Hmm.
maybe findings that black hole the
Yeah.
that takes 35 thousand grants from 35 grand from his accounts and other things. I'm not really good with financial, so and
yeah,
yeah,
you
probably
do.
this is the right approach. I don't know.
I think I think initially it's transactional and then
Yeah.
it's transformational.
Yeah.
And just, you touched on value there, and they absolutely have to see the value, and that's what when somebody says to you, no, I don't want your coaching program, or I don't want to invest in you, or something like that. They're not saying no, right? What they're saying is, I haven't seen enough value.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so because people will buy anything.
It's legit.
If they wouldn't buy anything, companies like Porsche wouldn't exist, or
Yeah.
Lamborghini, or something like that. Price doesn't matter. Price is irrelevant. If they see enough value, they will buy. So when they're saying no, they're not saying no. They're saying you haven't shown me enough value. So it's our job as coaches to show them the value. And by the way, you know, you don't. It's not selling; it's coaching.
Mm,
You're coaching people to a decision,
exactly right.
right? I think that some you know we're great coaches, so coach people to a decision.
Yeah.
You know, that's certainly what my sales process is.
Absolutely.
Is it's coaching,
I
you
think,
know,
but I think
and I
people can
just ask
smell
questions.
a sales process or a click funnel coming a mile off, can't they? Now, I mean, you
Yeah,
know when
exactly.
you're going to be sold something because you get the messages coming through. And I had a conversation with somebody who's on Zoom, doesn't matter who it was, and I wasn't really sure what it was going to be about. But when we had the conversation, the guy started off by saying, "What will give you great value from this conversation today?" And immediately I knew that's it. We're in a blooming sales process, and here we go. And he went nowhere. I just wasn't interested. There was no warmth, no conversation there. He was scripted. It was just horrible. So off he went. But it is that it's that it is the value proposition. I remember I sat with a couple, two women running a company in the UK, and they wanted to meet with me. Sat down, had this sort of conversation with them, and they said, "We cannot afford coaching. We've got no cash, we've got no money. We're on overdraft and credit cards, and the business is horrible. We'd love to work with you, but we can't." And I said to him, "Well, talk to me about the business. How big is the business? What did you invoice last quarter?" I was like, "This is the end of March or something like that." And she turned to her business partner, who's over the way down there, and she said, what do we invoice last quarter?" And this lady looked at her and she said, magic words. She said, "I thought you were doing that." And they were so busy in their business, they hadn't invoiced for 3 months. 1.2 million. 1.2 million not invoiced.
Oh,
So guess what? Guess why they were out of cash? They hadn't invoiced anything. And they literally sat there and they went, "Oh my God, this is it." And they associated that finding that cash with me asking the question. They went, let's get on it. And we made all the phone calls that afternoon, got to the clients, raised the invoices and sorted it all out. And we were away, and they were with us for years. It was great. But it's that sort of, people are so close to their business or their life or whatever it is, they can't see what's happened. And it takes somebody like us to turn up and go, well, look at that over there. And they go, oh, there's the value. Everybody's got, I guarantee every business has got that inside of it. And it just takes the right questioning approach to find it. And regularly they find this money.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Is all I do is ask a question. I had a conversation this morning with someone, and they said something like, it's not a client, but they said something like, the staff just don't do what they're supposed to do, or something like that. I just sat back and went, huh, do they know what they're supposed to do? And he went, it was a husband and wife team, and he went, no, I don't think they do.
There you go.
Well, what do you think might happen if they did? Right. And bought a coaching program off the back of those series of questions. That's all it was. Yeah. And it doesn't, I think people overcomplicate it? I think they do.
They do. I'm guaranteed they do. I see people, I have people pitch me their coaching services from time to time because they want to do it. Great, we'll go along with it. That's all fine. You never know. We all need a coach anyway, so you never know. But it's dire. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's pretty rough. It's all scripted. It's all just tick box and this sort of thing. And it doesn't work. And there's no relationship. There's no value. There's no warmth and engagement there. And I wouldn't buy that. And most people won't, I don't think. It's a shame because that's why a lot of coaches struggle. And my belief is that people who are maybe the finest coaches in the world don't have any clients because they don't know how to build relationship and show value. They might be great and they're highly qualified and have all the certificates and all the tick boxes, but they never actually get the clients they really need because they can't put their personality out there and they can't market. So it's a shame. It's a shame.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely.
So look, we're probably going to run out of time if not very careful on all these sort of subjects, but should we skip marketing? We're going to talk about marketing, I think, as well. We'll do marketing sort of next week, perhaps, do you think? So we've covered off the sort of the target market and USP and that sort of thing mindset. Anybody else on the call? Any questions? We'll open it up now. Beji has some great questions, but Marie, Yannick, we don't see you. And if you'd like to say hello and wave and just say so we know you're there, will be great. But any questions, Marie? Do you have any questions or thoughts at all? Yeah, please go.
Yeah. So first of all, I do believe all those amazing stories about not invoicing. I'm a former accountant, and yes, it seems incredible, but it is happening all the time, unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah, there are, as you said, a lot of coaches out there, and more, and especially with COVID and all of that, people lost their job, which is discover they are a coach. And I just find that it's not impossible, but a bit challenging to differentiate yourself. Yeah. So my question is, what is the best way to do that? And on the other side, what is the common mistake you've seen from people when they try to differentiate themselves, which is not a way to go?
Great question. Gareth, do you want to shoot first?
Yeah, I mean, I think the common mistake is solving a problem that isn't a problem, if that makes sense. But that's one of the things about being in business, and you got to have a product that people want to buy, not what you want to sell. Yeah, often two very different things. I've got a great story of a client who invested almost 100 grand in a great product, but just the culture in the UK means that nobody wants to buy it, right? But it's the same with us. It's the same with us. You got to have a product that people want to buy, not what you want to sell. Yeah. Which with all due respect, might be a great problem to solve, and it might be a problem, but people they do have to want to buy it. Yeah. I think the best way to differentiate yourself. Oh, that's a go on, David.
Well, I was thinking why I asked you to go first because it gives me time to think. I think in terms of differentiation, I think the best way of doing it, just in my experience, is two things: is get on stage and get on video. Because if you're on stage, either on a Zoom or a physical stage, and you're the center of attention, you've got the confidence to tell your stories and hold attention. Not many people can do that. So that means you're the center of attention. So get on stage and write a book. And even now, a book is a great thing to have. I know, Gareth, you're halfway there or over halfway with your book now. Pretty much,
Yeah.
but have a book, because what it does is it makes this intangible, invisible knowledge and ideas that we've got. It turns this invisible into something tangible. People can pick it up and touch it and get a feel for what you're all about, and that helps as well. It just sounds a bit cliche, write a book, I'm an author, but actually, and not just an ebook, a physical paper book. It makes a big. You can send it to people, and they will pick it up and read it. And then picking on, as Gareth was saying, I think a lot of coaches they assume everybody's broken and damaged. They assume everybody needs fixing, and everybody's is depressed and broken and hurt and horrible, and they're not. A lot of coaches are. A lot of coaches become coaches. They can heal themselves by working with people who are actually okay, and that's just my observation. Don't assume. I'm not saying you do this, but when coaches assume everybody's broken and damaged, that's not attractive. Because you see the marketing, the advertising things that coaches put out there about people have their limiting beliefs and broken relationships and trauma, and you think, my goodness, who's going to buy that? It may well be that when you're working with a client, as I'm sure Gareth will know as well, clients tell me all sorts of things that make your hair curl a little bit from time to time. But if I said that to them on the first day, there's no way they're going to work with me. There's no, they don't want to go there. There's no, I'm a business coach, want to do numbers and balance sheets and forecasts. So that will evolve over time. So don't pretend people are broken. So I think, in answer to your question, I think it's be on stage, be on video, get published, and also be slightly, kind of put it, but slightly a bit controversial in a positive way. Don't just regurgitate. The number of times coaches put a post on LinkedIn, you see, it's, if you think you can or you can't, both ways you're right. It's, oh, for goodness sake, not that one again. It's just like it's attributed to Henry Ford or Tony Robbins or somebody. Well, great. Be yourself and put something slightly edgy out there that triggers people to recognize you've got something different, I think, as well. So yeah, so be edgy, be on stage, write a book, and be prepared to have be a bit edgy. Be edgy with your marketing, I think.
Yeah, if you're I think if you're not being edgy with your marketing, are you really marketing?
Exactly.
That's my question, because you just get lost in the noise.
Right.
So sometimes it's okay to be controversial. Don't isolate anyone, and don't don't do any hate speech or anything like that, obviously.
No.
You don't need to do. That's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Don't be sexist, racist, or whatever. But you can be a little bit on the edge in the right way, I think.
I think I would definitely steer clear of religion, politics, gender, all this. I saw a post it was on LinkedIn, I think, and it made me cringe a bit. I certainly wouldn't do it, and it was because it was Easter weekend, and it was talking about of all the days to be on the cross, the day before a long bank holiday is horrible, sort of thing. And you think, crikey, what's that going to do? That's you don't do that, because I guarantee you're going to upset people. There's no need for it. It's not okay, and avoid. I think when you can be slightly controversial is put your ideas out there. I put a headline out there, something like this, whatever it is, that just triggers people a little bit in a positive way to respond, but avoid upsetting or triggering people, because social media can be all sorts of things, all sorts of people. But yeah, just be slightly controversial in a good way. And if somebody who does this really well, just real quick, is a guy called Rory Sutherland. He's on Twitter. He's the I think he's the CEO or COO of Ogilvy Marketing. Brilliant guy, love him. He's all over TED Talks and YouTube, and he's very clever the way he puts things out there. He just sort of puts a very clever little post out that nudges people to make a response. Those sort of things, absolutely great. But we don't want to upset anybody. That's the whole thing.
I think educate as well.
Yeah.
Of all the videos, I haven't done videos for a while, actually, and I really should do. And I know you do videos and stuff like that, David.
Yeah.
of all the, there's no secrets. Once you get into a coaching program, if you've watched all the videos, you'll be like, oh, is that it? Because all the stuff's out there. And don't be afraid of that, because it gets people in, it gets people into your kind of circle. So educate as well. I think that's really, really important. To put your content out there. I was at a seminar a few years ago, and the guy said marketing is dead, content marketing rocks. And that's true. I think you have to educate and communicate. The two roles of marketing, I think, are communication and education. And I think if you're not educating, you're not marketing. And real education as well. Don't just put a teaser out. Give people actionable points.
And don't just talk about law of attraction either. Coaches go on about, I mean, we all know the law of attraction is great, it's amazing, good, but really, we've done it to death now. Talk about something else as well. It's been done.
Definitely. Yeah.
So does that help? Sorry, Marie,
very much.
Fabulous.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Great. Thank you. Bez, any other questions from you before we start to wrap it up?
No. Yeah, probably. I was curious about your first client. So
My first client?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Not who they are, but how
okay. I can
that you switched.
I can tell you my first client was actually a recruitment business in Birmingham. And I sat there in front of this guy, and his dad was running the business with him. And they were great. And we sat there talking about the business and all this sort of thing. And they said yes. And I remember I came out and I phoned Lynn, my wife, on the mobile. I said, Lynn, I've got a client. I've got a client. They said, that's great, amazing, well done. What are you going to do with them? I said, I've no idea. But that client, it must have been about 6 months in, I said to them, after we've been working, we were together for 3 or 4 years in total, but 6 months in, I said to them, I've got a number of clients by then. I said, just out of interest, guys, did you know, or did you realize you were my first ever client? Thinking they wouldn't. And they went, yeah, we guessed. I said, well, how did you guess? What do you mean you guessed? He said, well, you didn't know what you were doing. That was obvious, but we thought you were a nice guy and would give you a break. And I thought, crikey. So I got my first client by being a nice guy, but they knew I didn't know what I was doing. And that was about it. So I learned this sort of, personality, likability, that was key, a strength, I think, for me. But yeah, they knew straight away. So that was it. And they did well. All was good. We're still in contact now. We did 18 years ago. So yeah, it was a recruiter, and I had no clue what to do. They were right. I didn't know what I was doing. But anyway, I do remember them though. Bless them. It was great. Good people. Good people.
I had a similar conversation when I got my first client.
Yeah, who was yours? Who's yours?
My first client was an accountancy practice. Very, very small, around 120, 150k turnover.
Yeah.
Really good. I think I coached them for about 18 months.
Yeah.
2 years. Really good little business. Good results as well. And it was a classic, sort of classic accountancy with no managerial skills, if that makes sense. And, she would absolutely agree with me right now.
Marie's nodding now. I understand.
Sorry.
I've been working for this type of company for like 11 years, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, accountants are great with numbers.
Not with people. Definitely no.
And she would agree with that as well. And that was one of the first things we kind of fixed in the business was. Actually talking to people and
that's right, exactly,
properly and stuff like that. And it was that was on day one as well.
Yeah, fantastic. There you go.
That was on day one. She came to a seminar.
Yeah.
And bought straight away, pretty much. Yeah. She didn't know. She didn't know I was the first.
She didn't realize. Okay, no, I don't. I've no idea what I was doing at the time, but I must have sent out this signal. I'm. Anyway, In fact, when I first started, we were selling our transport and warehousing business at the same time, and so they overlapped by about 6 months. And used to go meet people for a coaching sales meeting. I ended up selling them warehousing, logistics, and transport instead. So anyway, it was a bit of a rocky start, but there you go. But I think everybody remembers their first. There you go. That's how we do it.
The thing is, I think it's easier to sell that. It's easier to sell that than coaching, isn't it? I mean,
Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not
coaching is
me.
very personal, and
It's
I took it very personal when I first started, and people said no to me. Because I mean, I got that first client on day one. I don't think I got another one for about 6 months. But you know, when people say no, I often felt like they were attacking me personally.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's not the case.
No.
What they're saying is no to the program or no to the product.
That's it.
And it took me a while to get over it, actually, to get over the personal kind of barrier, because it is very personal. It's you're putting yourself out there, like you were saying earlier. You're putting yourself out there, and coming from an armed forces background, I don't deal well with criticism. So. Yeah, exactly. So but they're not. They're absolutely not saying no to you. They're saying no to the program, or they're saying no to the value, or something. It's not you.
But I do find it over the years. I found that people they discover me and they discover coaching in a variety of ways, and you look at how they become clients. It's different. There's no system and structure to it particularly. It's very, very strange. One of my favorite ones, and it's a guy called Mike. He's in the UK, lovely guy. He might be watching this at some point, so I better be careful what I say. But I got an email come in, and it said, literally, it was, "Hi David, got this business, blah blah blah. I'm looking for a great business coach." And he said, "Do you know anybody?" It's like, I thought, cheeky. I emailed back and said, "Yeah, I know 2 or 3, but you can't afford them, so you're gonna have to work with me." And we had this sort of, this went on for about a week. We finally met up, and we started working together. But it was just, and we were together for a long time still. We're sort of friends and colleagues now. But there's no method and tick box system to it either. This marketing and attraction, you've got to do the fundamentals, but allow people to discover you in different ways, I think, as well.
I had an epiphany just before Christmas when I think we had a conversation about it, actually. I'd been posting on LinkedIn consistently every single day for about 18 months, and with very little results, actually, at the time. Now it's slightly different, but and somebody out of the blue emailed me and said, "Oh, I'd really like to have a Zoom call with you." And I went, "Okay," and we set up a time. And at the start of the conversation, I said, "Look, what do you want to get out? What's this all about?" And he said, "Oh, I really want you to be my business coach."
There you go.
And I went, "What?" And I said, "Dude, just out of interest, how did you find out about me?" And he said, "Oh, I've been following you on LinkedIn for a year. I love it. I love all your content." And bearing in mind, this was somebody who had no interaction with me at all on LinkedIn. He hadn't liked any of my posts, hadn't commented or anything, but he had been following me for a year. And it was a real epiphany moment of, you never know who's watching, type thing.
Absolutely. You have to be careful with that as well, because we are being watched in a positive way all the time. We can't let it slip either. So anyway, there we go. So Bez, that was our first client. Does that give you an insight?
Yeah. Very, very, very interesting insights today.
It's a fun business. It's a fun business as well. So, all right.
No, that's right. So, I've been doing that, and as probably I told you sometime, I'm doing this volunteering in the weekends. So with Sported, and it is a really nice. Even if you're doing it as a volunteer, but it gives you really, really good emotions back.
Absolutely.
And it's really nice what you said. So I'm taking a lot of tips and on how to manage this thing. So it's really nice what you said about the personality, the connectivity, and the connection you create with the person you have in front of you, because you become more effective on counseling also. Absolutely. If you are more likable. So thank you.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Yannick, I don't know. I hope Yannick is still there. Any questions, Yannick, that you'd like to ask us before we wrap it up?
Oh,
Hello?
potentially.
Hello, Yannick.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Hi there. Welcome. Good to hear you.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I missed most of the session.
That's okay.
I had some issues with my laptop, so I didn't hear what you were saying. So I just came like maybe 5 minutes ago.
I see. Right. Okay. No, it's fine. Relax. It's all right. We send you the recording anyway, so
Okay,
you can
that's good.
catch up.
Thanks,
But,
thanks, David, for organizing this. I don't have much to say because I missed most of the.
It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry. But there's no pressure. But this is. I mean, we're doing this. This is a weekly event.
That's a weekly one. Okay.
So there'll be different subjects. We're going to do this. So same time, same channel. Everybody's welcome to jump in. We're going to record it and put it out
That's
there.
great.
So yeah, we'll keep you posted, and you're welcome to jump on and participate as we go along. So thank you for being there. Anyway, good to
thanks, David.
All right, pleasure. Good. All right. So anything else while we're together? Anything, Gareth? Anything from you to wrap it up, or?
That's pretty well timed, isn't it? An hour on the dot.
I think it is. But the church bells are going here. Look at that. How good are we? How good are we at this? We should be coaches, really. But anyway. So was the next week then? Was sort of same time, same channel. We'll get the invitation out, that sort of thing. But the look of, I think we'll be doing sort of marketing and visibility as a sort of a central point next week. So we look forward to it. Spread the word. We'd like to have as many people on here. This is the first one. A few more people will be great. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for participating. And we'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Thanks, guys. And bye for now.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
David and Gareth. See you next week.
See you. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.